Welcome back to War Thunder Weekly News. And this week the patch launched, but also today, Sunday, on the 1.83 rumor roundup thread on the official forums, the well-known Japanese tank researcher Mai Waffenträger seemed to have gotten to an argument with the community manager Sim 1080p. The argument consists mostly about Japanese tanks. But during so, Snim said in one of his posts, as I said above, the R2Y2 was introduced at a time when vehicle prerequisites were entirely different. Vehicles such as the R2Y2, Tiger 105, and Panther 2 were introduced to fill gaps because the game had a different set of restrictions and an entirely different time frame. That has long since changed, and as we have made clear, those machines are not something we wish to pursue anymore, and we intend to remove them from research at some point in the future. So many times in the past I've brought up that they have had this idea to perhaps remove the Tiger 105 and Panther 2 as they are technically paper. The Panther 2 being modeled incorrectly and the Tiger 105 never actually holding a 105mm cannon. But never before have they actually overtly stated that the R2Y2 was also on this list. Now a lot of people assumed it because generally they're talking about paper vehicles and all. But now we have a community manager overtly stating that they intend to remove them from research at some point in the future. Not that it's just some vague idea a developer once stumbled upon or anything like that. It seems to be something actually sought towards. On the other hand of things, that we have to take into account that this is only a community manager and not a developer. So while I wouldn't take his words for fact, his words do reflect the company's ideals. At least that's what I assume a community manager's words would be. On the subject which Sim 1080p and my Waffenträger were arguing about, it was about Japanese tanks being added, and it seems that it's not looking very bright for the Japanese tank tree. We're not getting any World War II tanks anytime soon. On more current news, update 1.81, the Valkyries has come a day later than I was suspecting, and well, the big question is helicopters. They kind of suck. At least I haven't seen anyone make any major impact onto a game in one. They get to spawn at the beginning of the match, but they are always quickly shot down by either counter-fire ATGMs coming from the numerous T-55AMs or roof-mounted machine guns, which people are pretty good at aiming. Thanks to the partnership program that I am a part of, Gaijin said that they would be giving me one of the helicopter packs, but unfortunately I live multiple time zones away from them, and so communication takes some time, and so I have not received this pack yet, but I'll make a video on it when I do. Of other changes that people don't seem to be bringing much attention to are the new sounds. A lot of things have changed. What I've noticed most is when jets whiz by your tank, it sounds a whole lot different and cooler. Also, in naval battles, guns firing far off sound much different, and it's really atmospheric and cool. I got to play a few actual games on the new American Desert tank map, and it's a fun map. On the other side of the train tracks, there's this big dip towards a lake that is really fun to sneak by, and you can get behind the enemy if they're not paying much attention. Or you can take the fight into the town and drive over various 1960s cars. I like it. Personally, I wouldn't mind more US maps. While I do like my vehicles historically accurate, I don't mind if the maps are fantasy. The majority of the changes for this patch were actually exactly the same what they were in the dev server, although it seems that the helicopters have reverted to a previous state where they do not fly as well as they did on the third dev server. One change that's kind of neat is the option to purchase Gaijin coin through your Steam wallet has been added, though it's at a higher rate than if it were through just the Gaijin store, so keep that in mind. But this might give you something to do with the around $2 you can make off the Steam sales. Now you can throw that money at skins on War Thunder. I think the biggest change that we've all probably noticed is the reduction in the spawn point cost for tanks. This has been quite massive and has not heavily changed the face of ground forces, but has definitely changed a lot. I've noticed there's more things to shoot at and matches seem more complex. Unfortunately, it hasn't changed the way they carry out. It always seems that one team completely dominates the other, or one team has a slight push at the beginning, gets all their good vehicles killed off, and then the other team dominates them. There's definitely still more work to be done to make the game better, though it's a good step in the right direction of making combat more interesting overall. So helicopters are here, but they are in closed beta, or you have to buy one of the packs that actually have access to them, although everyone does get to see the tree and can test drive the premium ones. So if you don't want to buy one of the helicopter packs, there is a way for you to get into the CBT. Every day there is a task to complete 5 missions for the US or USSR at rank 5 or 6 with 60% battle activity. Do this for 10 days and you get access. Do it for 12 days and you get a Valkyrie decal. This will go on until the 19th of October, so that's how long you have to get the Valkyrie. If you bought one of the packs, you will soon receive the Valkyrie decal anyways. Unexpectedly, Gaijin released a dev blog of them going to a museum in Minnesota to take notes on various US tanks. The two talked about are the M60, where they talk about the turret and the armor around the gun mantlet. They don't talk about whether there's going to be any changes to the in-game version, but they do show pictures of them measuring the gun mantlet, so one could assume that this is going to lead to in-game alterations. And then mantlet has been known to be modeled wrong for quite some time now. The other blip on it was about the M1 Abrams, and they wanted to make sure they had the armor correctly modeled. And according to them, they did, which is great, I guess. A member of my Discord, Pytor, explained to me an interesting idea of possible tech trees to be added to War Thunder. He showed on Saturday that a Swedish Air Force tree had been passed on to developers for consideration, along with a bunch of post-war jets and tanks, and a Dutch aviation tree. Now the Swedish one is interesting to me because back in August, there was a Q&A, which I did cover in a video. There was a few questions that weren't plastered onto the front page of the website. There was a question asking, when will Swedish or Chinese nation be added in the game? Approximately this year or in the following? And the answer was in the following. Now this was Google translated, so you can leave it up to interpretation to a bit. But of possible nations to be added, I'd say that Sweden is one of the strongest. I personally would argue that also China, but I think that's a subject for another video. Sweden had a large number of very cool planes that could be added, and I believe they had a tank that looked like a cheese wedge, which interests me because I like cheese. So it's likely that this information was requested by the devs, not just passed to them. Unrelated to content, it looks like Gaijin is looking to expand as they've reduced the requirements to get into the partnership program. Now the requirements are that you have to upload gaming related content regularly, have 500 viewers per video, 10 viewers per stream on average, and maintain War Thunder as an active part of your channel. Prior to this, you needed 1,500 subs. Now, going by the number of views you get per video is a much better way to judge a channel, as there's lots of older channels that hardly ever upload content and had gained quite a number of subs just from existing throughout the years. And honestly, 500 views per video isn't that hard to get. They're also looking for Xbox specific technical moderators. The requirements for this are much harder than to get into the partnership program. And I have no experience being a technical moderator, nor do I know if it's fun or not. So I'll leave that up to you whether you care or not, but it's interesting to note. Besides that, there was quite a few bugs fixed up, and naval vessels and helicopter controls now available for all players, which hints towards Naval being closer to open beta. My theory is probably going to be sometime after the War Thunder anniversary, so November probably. As I've stated many times in the past, that it's unrelated to major patches and runs on its own schedule. Anyways, that's all the major news for now. If I've missed anything or if you have any comments, you can comment down below or hit me up on my Discord. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you didn't like the video, don't hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. I make these new videos every weekend. I make random videos throughout the week. So hit that bell icon to be notified anytime I upload anything. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day.
Attention to the map! Нет пробития! Точно в цель!